Okay, welcome everybody to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream for February 4th, 2021. We are back with KABN and David Lukacs, the CEO. David, welcome back.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks for having me here. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I just couldn't get the link to work.
It's fine. It's fine. We have somebody saying that they were adding shares while.
Well, that's always a good thing. If they're waiting for me and adding shares, that's a great thing.
So everything is looking good. David, I think, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to do something different because we have some people who know the story, some people who are might be new tuning in. But yeah, I kind of want to start. I want to kind of mix things up a little bit because everything has been off today so far. So I'll start backwards. Explain to us what's going to make KABN. What's the pathway for KABN to be a $3 to $5 stock? Can it get there in, let's say, 12 to 18 months? And what would be the path to get there?
Well, I always have to start, Jack, by saying everyone has to do their own due diligence. Otherwise, our counsel would kill me. But we believe it can and it should. And I'll tell you why. And if you've been following the news lately, there's so much information on these COVID passes and digital identity and everything going on. And here's the real kicker of what we do. I think it's really interesting and easy to explain it. You know, if you go to a concert, if you go to a theme park, if you go to an event, you wear a wristband. We all get wristbands. But imagine everywhere you go in life, if you're digitally going anywhere or need to present something, you have a wristband. So your wristbands could go way up your arm, down the other arm. What KABN and Liquid Avatar does is it simplifies that process. We are in the business of helping people manage their digital identity. We're taking all those digital identities and making it easy to use, easy to manage, and it's free of charge to the consumer. So we have a huge opportunity because our market is 100% of people online. So we're making digital identity easier to use, manageable, verifiable, and we're putting that control in the hands of the user. So we believe that that can rocket up our value.
Okay, and so you're in the market of digital identity. So exactly how big is the opportunity? Like, I mean, what is it? It's everybody. How are you going to monetize this basically?
Well, that's a great point. Well, if you think about it, and I come from the days of early internet days when everyone said no one would shop online, and we know what a misnomer that is. You know, the richest man in the world is sort of in the shopping business, right? Online shopping. So the addressable market for digital identity is everyone online. Think about search, the value of search engines. Think about the value of communications online. Think about the value of browsers online. They reach 100% of the market. Digital identity reaches 100% of the addressable market. That's a 5 billion person market. Now, we don't believe we'll have it all, but we're looking to try and grab a nice slice of the pie. And so how we monetize is very simply, we give our services to consumers at no cost. We think the consumer needs to be empowered. The consumer needs to manage this. And in return, we will bring the consumers values and propositions like offers that are permission-based inside our app. And if they take advantage of that, we get paid a bounty or commission. But what's really unique about all this, Jack, is that our users, because they're verified with digital identity, are real people and known. So marketers are now reaching real people, not fakes or bots, and losing a huge percentage when they go to social media or other places where they're just reaching a wide audience. They don't know how many people are real, or in fact, do they meet their demographic or geographic needs?
Okay, so clearly, you know, the two things. One is you're going after a multi-billion-dollar opportunity, huge market. Absolutely. But let's talk today, really, the traction you're getting in the markets. I think that's the thing that's really interesting for investors. Like, you've been gaining more and more traction in the market. You have the new deal you announced, a new partnership with Indico. You have the app that's going to be launching next, I don't know, 14 days, 2 weeks from now, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about traction, because that is important for people to know. Like, what, you know, like, when is this dream going to become real? Basically, this potential for, you know, the $1 billion opportunity here.
Well, rubber hits the road starting in 2 weeks for us. You know, we've been building all our products, making sure they're ready for market, testing them, and we start the rollout in the app stores in 2 weeks from now. We've already got our pre-launch marketing programs in place. We're getting ready to get out there and launch, and we have lots of partnerships emerging, some already in place that will help us reach users. Our goal is to, very quickly to get up into a significant amount of users, and significant numbers vary from user base to user base. But we think of it very simply, Jack, that a user can be worth, in relative terms, a verified user based on industry standards can be worth on a lifetime value up to $300 for us, we think, on average. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do the math. If we had 1 million users, would that translate to an enterprise value of $300 million? With 100 million shares outstanding, that's a $3 share. Now, that's all potential. That's all forward-looking, of course. But we look at numbers based on enterprise value of users, potential opportunity. And again, even in North America, there's 400 million people that could be our market size. We don't think it's that challenging. But it is hard. But we don't think it's that challenging to reach 1 million users.
I mean, essentially, so you've had experience in the kind of consumer marketing space, game for this type of area. Okay. So let's talk about the this Indico partnership that was just announced. So what is this
It's
about?
actually in DCO. It sounds like Indico, but it's actually in DCO.
This is the point of doing these interviews. That way you can, people that don't know, like me. So in DCO, what is in DCO? What are you doing with them?
Well, in DCO, and again, I don't want to get too technical here, but in DCO, we decided that, there's two things you can do. You can rent computers, you can buy computers, right? In terms of, we now are used to cloud storage. We decided that rather than let anybody else control our wallet ecosystem for identity, we would build our own. And that would give us a leg up because, again, we could give it to the consumer at no cost. There are other players in the market that may have to download cost to users. We decided to build it ourselves. And we've got some of the top engineers in the industry who have been in the identity industry for a number of years already, building our wallet and our platform.
Okay. And okay, so the app is going to be in 2 weeks. Is there something that people could see now? Is there like any kind of, I don't know, beta, or is there some sort of screenshots? Or what can we get like right now to see? You have any
Well, next week we plan on doing some sneak previews.
Okay.
So people can come out and see it. And again, I want to caution everyone that we're going to be launching in phases. We like to say that Liquid Avatar is sort of the peanut butter of the digital identity space, which is a big pill, right? It's something new and hard to swallow. So we're going to launch in a series of phases, and the reason we're going to do that is because we want people to understand phase 1, then at phase 2, and it's all about gamification, engagement, retention. So we've got a lot of great things planned for the next few months, actually.
Okay. Let's see if we have any audience questions coming in. Okay. Any guys, you have any questions? We got, I guess.
Wow.
Okay. No question. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Here's what I think is interesting, though. So essentially, everything you've been talking about, I mean, for the last 2 months has been leading up into this really to this app launch, right? And what I find interesting is that a lot of times stocks have a big run up right before this news that's expected, and then when the news is expected, there's the old saying, buy the rumor, sell the news. Whereas the better way to do it is when the stock is low before the news comes out, that gives you the run up. So I think it's interesting because KABN right now is actually it's just a little bit above where we started back. When did we launch? In December, I think it was.
Yeah,
December.
in December. Yeah.
So it had doubled like in a day. Then everybody was like, oh, crazy! Oh, I missed out. We missed the boat. So this is usually it's actually, I think this is a very auspicious. Actually, this is a very auspicious because usually it works the other way. But when people kind of give up on something right before the launch, that is when the thing actually works. So then they have to start chasing it.
Well, I can comment, Jack. We not only did we do a financing, but we had warrants coming due between January and February. So at that time, we did get some warrant cashes, which is going to put a little bit of pressure on the stock. But that's quickly coming to an end this cycle, and we believe that we haven't started the good news really yet. once we launch and we're able to report numbers and show people what we're doing and showcase the product, and they'll see it all over the web and all over the app stores. I mean, we believe, this is a great opportunity to buy a bit on the dip.
Okay, so it's interesting. Okay, so really the story is really going to start. I mean, the story the stock story I'm talking about from my perspective is really once you launch, once you start getting to I guess to answer Basvaraj's question, he's asking when do you expect to have close to 1 million users. I think as after the launch we're going to see I guess news reports how often to show what kind of traction you're gaining, right?
Yeah, I think we'd like to do them at minimum biweekly. I think at least twice a month. And our it's easy to predict and talk about when we think we'll have 1 million users. Our goal, again, this is a speculative goal, of course. Our goal is in the first year to have upwards of 2 million users, but we've already got access to groups that have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 million users. So we could be low on our predictions, or we could be overstating, but we really are confident that we can achieve our goals.
David, I personally I like a story when people have given up on it, like, or when they've when something has had hype and then everybody like they people sometimes they buy in, like they buy the rumor, they buy in, everything runs up, and then they're like they expect the results instantly. They expect that just because they bought the stock, now it's going to be a 10 bagger that week. when it doesn't work out, they will dump, and 3 months later, the stock builds a base and then it runs. So that is actually we're in a good position. Here's a great question: how much cash on hand? Do you have enough cash to get to where you need to go?
Yes, I mean, we raised $4.15 million, so we did have some trade payables on the books, but we had no convertible debt or any other items on the books. So we end the year in a very favorable position in going into January and February. So we're cashed up, ready to go. We've been receiving offers to look at additional capital, and we're sort of standing pat right now. We've brought on in Toro for the U.S. to look at. We've got Mackey Research in Canada, which have been fantastic to us. And then we've got Intoro in the U.S., and we're looking at U.S. opportunities as well. But right now for us, and you're right, Jack, everybody thinks that, you raise your capital and then bang, everything is done. And we had a launch cycle already planned. That's why we raised the capital in December. So for us, people who have been sitting by patiently waiting, they've been waiting for Liquid Avatar to come out, and we've now put a stake in the ground, and we'll have regular updates and regular opportunities. And we, like anything else, we believe, we're confident that everything will go perfectly, but there will be some bumps in the road, as there is with everything, and we're being honest. But we have an opportunity to really take a large slice of the pie of a market that is massive and become, have some first mover advantages here.
Okay, we got some great questions coming in.
Sure.
Joseph was asking again, how will you advertise Liquid Avatar? How are you going to get users?
Well, we've hired one of the premier app marketing agencies in the U.S. to support us, and we start our pre-launch work actually tomorrow. And so they're going to make sure we're ranked and rated properly in the App Store, and that we've got opportunities to reach interested users. We've also got the campus agency that we're on a call with this morning that markets to over 2,000 universities, alumni, and families in the U.S. We've got other opportunities. We've got our communications firm and our PR in California, and we've got a lot of people we've known through the industries over the last 20 odd years that are excited to see Liquid Avatar become a success story.
Okay. Cole is asking, what is the incentive to the user to join the application?
Well, first of all, if the big incentive is, do I want to protect and manage my own digital identity? I mean, think about it. That's the first one. But we are adding all kinds of rewards and questing and gamification. we're working on some really cool AR projects to come out in the spring, and I think there'll be a lot of opportunities and rewards. I mean, you know, you can create an avatar and instantly share it with your friends. Excuse me. So that's a major incentive. You've never been able to do that, and everybody can share their information, what they want, when they want, and with whom they want instantly, and it's all free of charge.
Okay, I think that's what he was asking. Like, what kind of, you know, gimmicks, for lack of a better word, are there going to be, like this AR thing? Like, what's going to get people?
Yeah,
like...
I want to save it for rainy day, but what I'm going to say is we're working on some AR events that you'll be able to create really cool videos that you can take to TikTok.
Okay.
So there's some really cool AR incentives that are coming out in the product.
Okay, that's interesting, because the TikTok, that's the thing that, I mean, that's the market that
Yep.
that you're after. Okay, let's see. George is asking, do you have any direct competitors in this space?
Well, George, that's a really good question. It's the industry is really built. If you go to trustoverip.org, and that's a great place for people to visit, you're going to see that KABN is on the steering committee, along with some other great companies like IBM, MasterCard, Aetna, USAA, LG, and Accenture, and the province of British Columbia. But there are some other companies that are in the identity space. But we're part of this organization, and we're all working collaboratively together to discuss opportunities. My Chief Business Development Officer, RJ Reeser, is the co-chair of one of the committees, and I'm a vice chair of the communication committee. So we're actively involved, collaborating to create interoperable opportunities rather than competitive opportunities.
Okay. Bunch of questions coming in now. See, everybody's, first they were, you know, hiding,
a little shy, and now they're getting to it.
It took a while to show up. Maybe they were like, what's going on? All right. So Harold was asking, how many users are in beta right now, and are they generating revenue already?
No, the beta was to test some features and functions, and frankly, we closed off the beta in early December, and there was just under 1,000 people on the beta, because we moved from AWS onto the IBM cloud platform, and we've just finished that in late January. So, and it wasn't about generating revenue. If you want to look at some of our programs, you can go to KABN, cash with a K, KABNcash.com, and see our rewards and cashback program. So that's live.
Okay, so Alex, you see the question, David?
Not all of it, sorry.
Okay, so he's asking, Alex is asking, I keep picturing the ability to scan your phone device at people, and then their AR avatar will pop up with creds. Is that in the works?
Well, that is really, Alex, that's very forward thinking. It's something that we are contemplating. You know, whether you're using your avatar or you want to use an actual picture of yourself, you'll be able to, you know, I would down the road be able to, you know, scan Jack, because I have Jack's picture in the system, and a halo could come around Jack, and then you'd see Jack's LinkedIn, Jack's phone number, Jack's email. Click on it, and then Jack can I can contact Jack that way.
It's pretty impressive. Kipper is asking, what is the monthly burn rate?
Again, we haven't posted our latest financials. We have enough runway right now for quite some time, so I can't comment on that. But we do have quite a bit of cash in the can right now to manage our burn for quite some time.
Okay. He's also asking, what about the DTC eligibility? That's you have eToro. What's
eToro?
eToro. They're working on that, right?
Yeah, we're in the midst of filing everything. We had to wait until all the financing was completed, but you know, when we took over, we did the reverse takeover. There was a gray listed symbol, TRWRF, and now we're working on upgrading it to full DTC eligibility.
Okay, Kipper is asking, with people getting vaccines and packing a piece of paper, can they upload that documentation with the app? I guess he's. I guess he's
absolutely not.
A health pass.
Absolutely not. That piece of paper means nothing to us. What if you photocopied it or copied it? We're working on trusted electronic credentials that, if you think about it, if CS in the US issued a credential to Jack, that was the one that we want on a trusted event. We're taking validated credentials that we can verify before uploading them.
Okay, so essentially, you're going to have a health passport. You're going to have essentially.
Well, think of it this way: you're going to have 20 health passports.
Yeah.
You might have one piece from someone, one piece for someone else. But how do you manage those 20 different pieces of health information? Liquid Avatar gives you that capability to manage all of that, and we may have our own as well. So think of it as everywhere you go online and everything you touch digitally, you're going to have an ability to create a credential, and that could end up being thousands of credentials. The Liquid Avatar will allow you to manage and control those credentials.
Harold is asking, what about the 60 million DLI users? Do they have to create a Liquid Avatar to use the DLI platform, or is it just an option for them? And just what is DLI?
DLI is Disrupted Logic Inc. It's one of our partners. DLI is working with us to create an embedded registration system. We've gone through a couple different machinations in doing that. Users will have an option to create a Liquid Avatar, and we're also working with DLI to look at a one-path system, so that you could have one sign-in or a single sign-in for hundreds of different games. So you wouldn't have to give your information every time you wanted to start a new game in the DLI universe. You just use your Liquid Avatar, and boom, you're in the game.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so it's actually it's very interesting. So this is it's amazing, because this is like right now the company is at that inflection point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to know essentially whether this thing is real or not in a few weeks, basically, right? I mean, we're going to know if
it's real. I mean, I assure you, it is real.
But when I say real, I'm talking about from an investor standpoint. You're like, hey, is this going to work or it's not? It's it's like essentially a binary bet in a way.
Well, I don't think so, because I'll tell you why. It took a while for online shopping to come into place. It took a while for Facebook to gain some traction. I think what happens is it's a momentum play. What happens is, you start off, the curve starts off relatively flat, and then it just, accelerates.
I guess what I meant was they're actually gonna. I think they're actually gonna be able to see something, and it actually that's what. So in other words, right now, I think a lot of people they don't quite understand what you're doing. And then it's like one of these things, it's like it's almost like explaining social media, explaining Facebook. When I first heard about Facebook, and by the way, I don't even use Facebook, but when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't really understand. Like, why would I want to, but I'm wrong.
Let me answer that.
Who use it, right?
Facebook came out of 23, went down to 16, and I apologize, I don't know where it is today, but it's significantly higher, right?
And that's the thing. So, but when did it start going up? Is when everybody kind of like say, okay, they went on to the next thing. They went into, I don't know, whatever. They went into MySpace, whatever the stock was when it was $16. But okay, so right now in about 2 weeks, we're gonna see the app. So that is, I think, a major catalyst for the stock right now. Is we're actually at that the moment of truth here, and then we could start seeing the traction. I think that's the takeaway. Again, from the investor side, okay, the product is out, and then we can actually monitor traction, and that'll impact the value of the stock and everything else. So then everything is going to become, tangible at that point. It's right now it's abstract, and then it becomes reality. So that's.
Well, I think you're right, Jack. But you've also got to look at the team's historical platform. You mentioned MySpace. We were actually the stalking horse. My team was the stalking horse for MySpace. We actually lost it to Justin Timberlake. So we understand social media. We've built social media platforms in the past. We've built, technologies around e-commerce. We've built artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. We've been one of our senior people was early days with eBay. So at the end of the day, here's the situation. I want to be absolutely clear about this. If you believe that digital identity is the next big space, or one of the next big spaces, and that it is an addressable market that is massive, do you want to, look at companies or our company where we're entering that space on a large scale. So I look at it is this is the calm before the storm, right? And we're ready to move.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same thing. Okay, so basically the catalyst right now is you get the launch. To wrap up, I mean, again, I guess this kind of just recaps everything. Is in your opinion, and we kind of talked about it before, but right now, top 3 reasons why investors should consider KABN.
So let's look at addressable market first. Okay, how big is the market space? And it's an unsaturated market space. It's an untapped market space. It's 100% of people online. 2, does the management team, which we do, have the experience and successes in the past to make this happen? And 3, do we have the technology and the partners to make this happen? And I think we have the team, the technology and resources, and we have the addressable market that makes us, a triple threat.
Okay. David, on that note, I want to thank you, and I want to see this app in 2 weeks. We're going to have you back.
Absolutely.
It'll be the thing everybody's been waiting for the last few months. So again, thank you everybody for joining us on today's live stream, and we'll see you all on the next one.
Thank you, Jack.